Today I want to talk to you about the guitar amp plugin fix. Chris here from Mixdown.online. Now, if this is your first time here, click on the subscribe button below so you don't miss a thing. In this video, I'm going to show you what I do when I work with a guitar amp plugin. Now, guitar amp plugins, do they sound good? What I'm going to say about that, it depends on what you do with them. First of all, if you know your plugin pretty well, you can achieve a lot. It's surprising how close you can get to an actual amp. And the quality of the plugin itself has a lot to do with the end result. For example, if I take the S gear that is included in the Slate bundle from Slate Digital, is pretty amazing. You know, it's pretty surprising how good that amplifier, that virtual amp sounds. And same for Universal Audio. What they have as far as guitar amp plugins sounds pretty good. Now, the advantages of working with a guitar amplifier plugin. First, there's space. You know, you don't need like an extra room to mic your amplifier. Very practical if you're recording out of your apartment, out of your bedroom. If you travel, you know, you're in a hotel room, you have your sound interface. The only thing you need to do is to plug your guitar in line into the sound interface. And then you just insert your favorite amp simulation plugin, and there you go, you're good to go. But the downside is that most of them tend to be a bit harsh on the top end, into the high mids as well, and they tend to sound thin overall, you know, and they have like a lack of warmth and a lack of authenticity, and they could tend to sound a bit fake. So let's go into Cubase and let me show you what I do to fix that up. So what we have here is a session I am working on at the moment. Now we're in the middle of the recording stage, nothing is mixed, and the guitar player actually recorded his guitars in his apartment using virtual guitar VSTs. And he sent me all of these tracks after printing them. So this is what I have to work with. So let's have a listen to what we have with all the processing I did. Okay, if I remove all of the plugins. Now I'm going to go through all of the plugins I have here. The goal here is to bring a bit more of a real type of vibe to that guitar sound that was recorded with a virtual guitar amplifier plugin, okay? And, you know, like I said earlier, what's happening here is that sound was a bit harsh on the top end and the high mids were pretty aggressive. So I need to fix that up and add a bit of warmth to the sound itself. So here's what I did. First, I'm just going to remove these, actually just deactivate these. And I first started by using the Satson, okay, which is a console emulation plugin. Now, everything I'm going to show you here are mostly made with premium plugins, my favorite plugins that I work with on a regular basis. But I'm going to show you a version right after this that can be done with stock plugins within Cubase or whatever DAW you use, okay? So let's start with the Satson. Just add a bit of a console type of sound to the signal. So what I do here is just, you know, on this one, I just activated the fat, so it adds just a tiny bit of saturation type of sound, and this is what I get. Okay, I make sure my signal goes up to 0 VU here. Okay, pretty subtle, but I like what it does. Now, if you're listening to this video on your phone or your laptop, you're not going to hear a lot. You know, you need to listen to this video using a very good pair of headphones or good studio monitors. Now, the next plugin here is a tape simulation plugin, okay? Now, this is one of my favorite, the Studer from Universal Audio. And let's listen to what we have here. And again, I make sure I get a bit of tape saturation out of this plugin, okay? Now, this is going to smooth the top a bit, smooth the mids, And, I just like what it does. It adds a bit of warmth to the sound. Now, next, what I have is very simple. It's an EQ basically, but it's a dynamic EQ. Now, this one plugin can be downloaded for free. Okay, I'm going to leave the link in the description below, and you can download this dynamic EQ entirely free. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I add a high pass filter and a low pass filter just to filter out the bottom and the highs. Okay, just to smooth the sound a bit, just to get rid of that harsh part of the high end section of the frequency spectrum. Okay, and on top of that, what I did here, I took care of that aggressive frequency that I had. Now, that doesn't mean you're gonna get that aggressive frequency out of control in all virtual guitar amplifiers, okay? That happens with this sound. It might not happen on another sound, okay? So in my case, I had to take care of that frequency. It was around 3.4 kilohertz, which is very aggressive. And what I did, I just tamed that down a bit and compressed that signal, okay? Just so I can have a bit more control over that frequency. Okay, so it's a way more controlled. I had to compress it. It was aggressive. It was popping out of the mix, and it was a bit too much. So I used a dynamic EQ to achieve that. And I worked a bit on the low mid section just to tame down that part as well. And next, on my last plugin, I have the virtual mix rack from Slate, and I used the London. Now, this is part of the virtual tube collection, and I really like this plugin. Okay, so I set it up with the London unit, and let's listen to what it does. I really like how that sounds. Now, if I remove everything and I do it before and after like we did at first, this is what we get. Now, this is a bit more closer to what I would get with a regular guitar amp. Without the plugins, everything sounds a bit thin and aggressive. And when you add all of the saturation up and a bit of EQ and control over the frequencies, we get that warmer sound that, overall sounds way better, and that fits way better in the mix. Okay, now let me show you what I did with the stock plugins to get a similar type of effect. First, what I did here, I'm going to open this. I inserted Magneto 2, which is a tape simulation plugin. A very good plugin. It's included in Cubase. Sounds pretty good. And I added a bit of saturation within the plugin itself. So I'm just going to bypass the other plugins and listen to this plugin only. Okay, I'm just getting a bit of that tape type of saturation sound. Next, what I did, I used the channel strip out of Cubase, and let me show you. Out of that channel strip, okay, that comes after the inserts. In my case, the way I set it up, I have the equalizer. I'm gonna activate the EQ, and so I don't have a dynamic EQ within Cubase. I have a there's a multiband compressor, but I'm just going to use the regular EQ for now. Okay, so I have my high pass and low pass filter going on, and I have my aggressive 3.2, 3.4 kilohertz frequency that, drives me crazy. Okay, so I toned down that frequency with an EQ instead of a dynamic EQ. It gives me a similar type of effect, not quite, but good enough. So next, what I did, I went into the channel strip again, and I added a tube saturation effect, okay? So let me show you right here in the channel strip, and we have that tube saturation, we have tape saturation as well, and you can get Magneto 2 within this channel strip if you want, but I decided to go with the tube saturation option. I like that. It tames down the top end, tames down a bit of the high mids, adds a bit of warmth to the sound. So I like what it does. So if we go back and listen to it before and after, this is what we get. Alright guys, so this is it for today. I hope that was helpful. Actually, if it was helpful, click on like and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Guys, until next time, see you.